Rain slicks the pavement in downtown Seattle. Daniel Carter walks towards his car in a quiet parking lot, moving with the rhythmic, tired pace of a man who hasn't expected a surprise in years. But tonight, tucked under his windshield wiper, is a small white envelope. Inside, he finds a photograph of himself, a candid shot of him sitting alone at a bookstore window. On the back, 4 words are written. "You don't know me, but I've seen you every Friday for 3 months, and tomorrow I'm leaving." Daniel looks around the empty lot, but there's no one there. For 3 months, he thought he was merely a witness to the city outside. Now he's forced to realize that the entire time he was watching the world was actually watching him back. That realization is enough to crack the routine he spent years perfecting. He isn't just a face in the crowd anymore. He is someone's specific subject. Every Friday at the bookstore, Daniel returns to the same chair by the front window. From this spot, he can see everyone on the sidewalk without ever having to step out and speak to them. This was his mother's favorite spot. Since she passed away, he's used this window as a way to stay connected to her, sitting in the same light she once loved. The glass serves a dual purpose. It offers a view of the world while acting as a barrier against it. Behind the window, Daniel is safe. He can observe the lives of strangers without the risk of being hurt by them. But the note changes the math. For the first time, Daniel decides to leave the safety of his bookstore and walk into the Bluebird Cafe to meet the person who saw him. Healing usually starts with a single, uncomfortable physical movement. To move forward, Daniel has to step out from behind the glass and join the world on the other side. At the cafe, he meets Sophia. She carries a professional camera, often lifting it to her eye to frame a shot before she says hello. Like Daniel, she seems more comfortable as a witness than a participant. She explains that she wasn't following him. While sorting through her grandmother's old photography studio, she found a picture from decades ago. It was his mother, standing outside that same bookstore window. Sophia flips the old photo over. On the back, her grandmother had written, "Someday I hope Daniel finds someone who makes him smile again." Sophia had photographed the bookstore for months, trying to understand the person in her grandmother's notes. She didn't demand Daniel's life story. She simply handed him a piece of his own history that he didn't know existed. By focusing on his mother's memory rather than his current isolation, Sophia creates a space where Daniel doesn't feel the need to defend himself. They spend the rest of the day together, walking through Pike Place and to the waterfront. For a few hours, Daniel forgets to look for the nearest exit, and Sophia forgets to check her light meter. As the sun begins to set over the city, Daniel expects Sophia to take a picture. Instead, she lets the camera hang at her side. She says she wants to remember this moment herself, without a digital copy. When she lowers the camera, the distance between them disappears. She's no longer an observer documenting a subject. She's just a person looking at another person. There is a certain weight to a moment that isn't captured for later. It exists only for the people who are actually there to feel it. That night, Daniel drives her to the station. Sophia is moving to Boston for a new job, 3,000 miles away from the bookstore and the man she just met. She hands him one final photograph, the two of them together at sunset. On the back, she's written a single instruction: "Find me when you're ready." This gap in time is exactly what Daniel needs. If she stayed, he might simply trade his mother's memory for Sophia's presence, without ever learning how to stand on his own. Sometimes a person has to walk away to ensure that when they finally return, they are meeting someone who is truly whole. A year passes. Daniel starts writing again. He talks to the people who come into the shop. He even buys a camera of his own and starts exploring the streets he used to only watch from a distance. He still sits by that bookstore window every Friday, but the glass isn't a wall anymore. He isn't waiting for life to happen to him. He's actively participating in it. He learned that while Sophia gave him the initial push, the work of actually changing his life had to happen in the months after she left. At Daniel's first photography exhibition, the walls are covered with his own perspective of the city. He's standing in the center of the room, talking to strangers about his work. Then he sees her. Sophia is standing near the back, watching him. She didn't come back to save him from his grief. She came back because the man he is now is someone she wants to know. They eventually find themselves back at the bookstore window, But this time, they're sitting together on the same side of the glass, watching the rain fall on a city they both belong to. A shared afternoon was enough to start their story, but it took a year of distance to make it last. They've moved past the curiosity of a note on a windshield and into the daily choice to stay. Daniel's life didn't change because of a photograph. It changed because he decided to finally walk through the door and see what was waiting for him on the other side.